Sometimes,
Let's go.
sometimes you're a minute late, $1 short. That's life.
Hey, that's just what we're doing here, man. That's just what we're doing. It looks a little bit chilly out there.
It is. You can see the
Woo, yeah.
that is all natural.
None of that here in the office here. So
no, and the thing is I'm out here on my deck with the back patio television.
Yeah.
We did this back patio earlier this year. Our good friend of the show, Gary, and the tailgate, Gary helped me out and built this thing, and we love it out here. Tonight I have a fire pit. Am I glitching?
Yeah, it might be you. A little bit chilly out there.
Yeah. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Let's see if. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Let's see here. I'm going to disconnect from my Bluetooth. Reconnect.
Yeah, it might be you. A little bit chilly out there.
Yeah. A lot of playback. Hey, what we're going to do is we're going to stop and rejoin here in just a second.
Okay, I'll join back up.
All right. Yeah. Hello? I apologize, guys. This running a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're trying to get T-Rod back here. I was getting a lot of feedback, and hopefully this works out. I disconnected with a little bit of Bluetooth, and maybe my Bluetooth. Let's try this. You
I don't
hear me?
Anything.
Sweet. Let's roll with it then.
Hey.
That's interesting. Hey, Scott, thanks for helping out on the IT there. No more echo once T-Rod left, so I don't know. Maybe it was like a funky link. Who knows? Something between here and Springfield. But getting back to it.
Stop, Scott. It wasn't my fault, Scott.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, I'm out here on my back patio hanging out. I do have the fire pit going right here and a heater next to me. I have my, Grateful Duck jacket on, Grateful Duck hoodie. I got my Flip the Script hat, Yeah, and Wooden Grail, by the way, not a sponsor, but Wooden Grail makes these hats. I love it.
Those some hats are sick, man.
Yeah, some people are like, "Oh, why is it upside down?" I go, "It is the thing, man." Hey, and while we were at the tailgate for UW, an Oregon legend called me out, dude. He's like, "Bro," and he called me over. And who was it? It was Kenyon. Yeah. And we have matching hats.
Yeah.
So that was a photo op that I took earlier. Just over a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
so
Mr. Barner, or I guess if you've seen the Big Ten clips, otherwise known as Unk now, right?
Yep. He threw out that clip earlier today, or was it yesterday, about his eligibility. He's ready to go. So we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. How you been? How's your week been, man?
Good, man. I mean, just plugging away, trying to, just work, trying to get this house done here, and, looking at another project in Eugene. And so, yeah, man, just going.
Yep. First full week of 2026. It's been an eventful week. And hey, we have a football game to end the week, which I'm excited about. I'm stoked. I woke up stoked this morning. So let's get into this show. For those that don't know, I'm Chef Marc. That is T-Rod. And this is the Oregon Football Tailgate Talk. We are remote. Normally we host this tailgate the night before every home game at the Masonic Lodge. So and we're on the road. This is our second time on the road, and look forward to doing many more of these. Hopefully another one next week. right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's
We'll see what happens.
it is crazy. You know, I've seen some clips and the pictures, and I actually drove by the other evening myself, and it's crazy that the lights are on right now. There's like activity going on at Autzen, and here we are, what, January 8th or whatever the heck it is. You know what I
Well,
mean? Or it's just or what, 7th. Either way, but
yeah, it's there.
you
Yeah.
know what? I'm like the team, right? This is weird. This is our Thursday,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So it's but yeah, it's there's an excitement in the air, outside of just the standard stuff, and it's just that vibe around Autzen, and things are going on, and so yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking about it earlier this week, and I was talking to a friend about it. It's like, like when you think about this year's football season, this time in August, we were kind of like planning out our tailgate, planning out like what
Yeah.
we're going to do. I think it was about this time in August you reached out to me and said, "Hey, let's do a podcast together," And uh,
Yeah.
so we've been like putting it forth, like August, September, October, November, December, January, 6 months of football. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's I'm stoked on it. Like the off season is probably the it's a grind. It takes a lot. It's long.
Yeah.
It feels long, but this season has felt like it's everything
Like
that a
it's
Duck fan wants, right?
there's a balance here now, a balance in the universe now, with at least 6 and 6, kind of
Yeah,
the ebbs and flows of that, and now we're in the transfer portal, which is a weird situation for
it
these
is.
teams that are still in the playoff. And I can't imagine what it's like for Stein and Tosh and these guys out there. I mean, how do how are you balancing that right now? And I mean, we have no clue
Yeah,
who we're going to go and try to get in the portal, and we don't have any clue at this point in time who's waiting for us to be done to come here in the portal,
yeah,
right? And because I for me, I think that's what it is for us now at this point in time in the portal, is who wants to come here, and who do we want to pick from the group that wants to be here,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's definitely the timing is definitely interesting, and Dan's alluded to it multiple times. Is where it is a challenge, where you have that early signing period at the first Wednesday of December, and then all of a sudden you have a couple weeks off, and then the playoffs begin, and then it's a series of playoffs, and then all of a sudden January 3rd the portal opens up, and
Yeah,
you're trying to evaluate your team to have these discussions, and there's kids that are
absolutely.
and so it is a challenge, especially as you go deeper and deeper into the playoffs. Whereas I think we're going to talk about it tonight. I mean, Oregon is a bit thin in a position, and it is standing out, and so it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and we'll talk about that more as we talk about the game. But
Yeah,
yeah, college football. It's a news cycle right now, right? Because of the number of transfers, everything that's going on, and that's just to couple in with the playoffs.
yeah,
Really, like there's transfers. I think that it may even overshadow some of the playoffs. The fact that
yeah,
like, hey, so and so is hitting the portal, like, and it's a constant flow. If you're on Twitter, it's a constant flow. It's like so and so's hitting the portal, so and so's committed to so like this
yeah,
school, and
yeah,
so it's a constant flow, and there's not enough attention on the playoff. And I think the focus really should be on these four schools that we'll talk about tonight that are the Final Four, and they're playing in the semifinals. But before we get into that, let's jump into the quarterfinal game from last week. Oregon
yes, let's
versus
do
Texas
that.
Tech in the Orange Bowl. And Oregon
Woo!
Ducks come out on top 23-0. And
Yeah,
for those of you who haven't seen, we did do a live right after the show. We did have a little bit of technical issues with some of the connections and whatnot, but we'll try that again. It was
yeah,
fun, the
yeah.
emotion from the game, but 23-0, Oregon Ducks win, move on to the semifinals, and they will face uh, who are we playing this week? The
Oh yeah,
Indiana
come on now.
Hoosiers? What's a
Who
Hoosier?
who?
What's a Hoosier?
Yes,
You remember
yes.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
let's dive into this game. This segment is take two from the quarterfinal game against Texas Tech. We'll pick one player on offense and one player on defense. We'll talk about each player as to how they stood out. What kind of like hit home with you as far as their play and how they
yeah.
performed in the game. So let's start on the. I'm going to go defensive side of the ball to you, T-Rod.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate
You
that,
throw up a
man.
zero. We're going to go with you first.
I'll go first. I'll go first. But before I go, let's remind the people, even though I don't have it here and we don't
Oh
have one
yes,
here, let's
absolutely.
remind the people, Josh and the people down at Size Pizza, go see them. Go see them. Tell them that our podcast sent you, Chef Marc sent you over there, 1211 Alder Street, 541-686-9598 for that number, and sizenewyorkpizza.com. Go see them, people, especially right now. Things are starting to get a little bit more lively around campus, and whatnot, but it'd still be a good time to go down and see them. So go see Josh and the people down at Size.
Yeah, and Josh, thank you for the sponsorship of the Oregon Football Tailgate Talk, Size New York Pizza there in Eugene. Like when I was getting ready tonight for the show, I was thinking about pizza. I may have a pizza coming. There isn't a size here. Isn't a size here in Bend.
Hey,
Nothing compares. Nothing compares.
yes,
So hit them up and thank you once again for your
perfect,
sponsorship of this
perfect.
program. So.
All right, man. So on to the defense with Texas Tech. Who do you not pick, Chef Marc? I mean, come on. I mean, so it was one of those things that all you heard about was Texas Tech's defense, and I felt like every bit of that was legit. Maybe that secondary, was a little soft. We thought maybe that was the case going into the game, but that D line was crazy. Bailey, that guy is a freak athlete, right? I mean, just the way that he gets up off the ground, that he's got to have a 36, 40-inch vert at that
Mm-hmm.
size. But I felt like that our defense took it almost as that challenge, and then you hear the pound of flesh and get your pound of flesh. I mean, come on, man. I just was wanting to, take a bite out of myself watching Ducks versus them. Come on.
Yeah.
But those guys went out and did that. And it was impressive to watch. And I've been around for this program for a long time, and I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And so who I'm picking is actually somebody that you had mentioned, but I just really felt like almost in a quiet, noisy way, because as you started to look and watch the game and started to realize that he was having an impact on the game, is Mixon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we've called on his number all season long. And early on, it was about, let's see how he develops, but the potential is there, and I just feel like over the progression of the season, you have just seen him mature, and the way he goes about his business. And when I say silent, it's almost silent but deadly, right? He's there. Maybe you don't hear his name. Maybe it's somebody else's name in that pile, but he's still in the pile, right? And but he's had like 5 or 6 solo tackles on his own. I
Pass
think 1 or
breakups.
2 pass breakups. So you know what, Mixon is the guy, and he just continues to answer the call, and the leadership of Betcher just kind of bringing him along. Come on now. So
Yeah.
yeah, you called it. I'm gonna follow it up. I'm gonna
you know,
follow it up.
the thing is like I never thought like as a fan, normally I would just go into the game and just kind of watch the game, right? But
Yeah.
that Ducks to watch segment and how like it's kind of changed my perspective of what I'm looking for. I'll hone in on a
Yeah.
player and see how it goes. And then like you said, like I called out Mixon as a duck to watch on the defensive side of the ball. And midway through the game, I'm like texting back and forth. We're going back and forth. Mixon, like, and it just I don't know. Like I'm a fan. Like that's one of the guys I picked. Like you feel connected in that, and you're right. You know the way that he's shaping up as a linebacker within the scheme, how he can defend the run, how he can defend the pass. He continues to like just like grow into that.
You know, I mean, if I'm being honest, it's you know, it's all pure selfishness. Why we're watching these people. We want to make sure that the people that we're picking and the guys that we're grabbing are performing. At least something to give me something to grasp onto. Just one thing.
Exactly.
One thing,
feel
right?
like we were engaged. Like we had a part or something, right? We're fans, dude. We're just two fans talking Oregon Duck football here. I'm gonna pick. You know, like when I wrote down the list, like there's it's really hard to pick like one guy. But I think it would be difficult not to say Brandon Finney. Like the fact that like not only like the 2 interceptions, the way that he played into those interceptions, and the second interception, what I thought was interesting is as that receiver was going across the back of the end zone, who was right there was Jerry Mixon, and then Brandon Finney goes up, grabs the ball, secures it, takes the knee. Coach said after the game, "You really want to run that back, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Oh well, you know, I mean, you know what? But the wherewithal to just drop to the knee right there.
Exactly like to understand what that would do as far as just taking the knee. You got the ball back. He runs it back. Who knows what happens? You know, it's football. It's it could be a fumble. They get the ball back. They go down and score. It changes the game really when you're 13. It was 13-0 at that point, I believe, or it was right in that range. But nonetheless, Brandon Finney. But not only those 2 interceptions and the way he played those, but also like in the run game, where he comes down and just like there was a handoff and he just drove to the hole and just boom, hit it. And he had a number of tackles. There was a reason why he was the Orange Bowl defensive MVP, and to be a true freshman and to do that, like I can't wait for the next 2 years to watch him, and just like continue to do hone in his skills, grow, develop, get stronger, and he's to be a force to reckon with. I don't know. I mean,
that's it, right? I mean, we could pick so many, but you know, you also, you know, you can pinpoint, you know, each one and what they did individually, let alone as the team.
Right.
But that secondary, you know, and we'll get to it later on here. That secondary, they're on a mission right now. You know, I mean, the whole defense is, but the way that secondary played against the run and against that team, you know, it just felt like that there were 7 of them back there, 8 of them back there. You know.
Yeah, I'm with Scott though. I kept looking for camera angles to see what that field looked like coming from the other direction as he took that ball and caught it. And Scott says should have ran it back 107 yards to the house. Haha.
There was only going to be one guy to beat, and he had a blocker sitting in front of that individual. You know, yes. But still,
a selfless
football IQ though. Still,
a selfless player right there. That's a team player right there. Absolutely. Let's flip to the offensive side of the ball. So offensively, you know, there was scored 23 points. You know, some of those were on the special teams. Some of those were handoffs to Jordan Davison. And so from the offensive side of the ball, do you have a star? Obviously, we moved the ball quite well. Like it was very like, especially early on. But
I felt comfortable with the way that we were moving the ball, you know. But you know what? How about you go first on offense here?
Yeah. So I mentioned his name already, but you know the thing is like you know I have to give him a shout out. I have to pick him one last time. Unfortunately, Jordan was injured, and we're going to be without him come Friday. But
Yeah.
Jordan Davidson, what a season, man! Like, I'm a little bit. Like, we'll talk about the like, hey, Ducks to watch, but not only that, but Jordan Davidson was my running back on college football fantasy this year.
All
My
right.
fantasy team is called Mark, or is called Cark, the Carks, CARK. That's Mark with a C. If anyone wants to know, look it up. Like, look up Mark with a C. There's memes about it. But nonetheless, the Jordan Davidson, what a game! I mean, the way that he was hitting the hole, um, put in those 2 touchdowns in the second half, and really just kind of like put Texas Tech to bed, you know. And to do that, I don't know exactly when he was injured or where he was injured. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of different reporting with regards to that. But what a season! True freshman come in there
Yeah.
and just really kind of set the tone. As you know, like a lot of people like to describe Dier and Jordan as thunder and lightning. Um,
Yeah.
Jordan obviously being the thunder and Dier being the lightning, but like the way that both of those guys run with impact and force is really just like it's fun to watch. It's something that like it's been probably a decade plus since we've had 2 backs that ran like that. You would have to go back to Kenyon and Lamike, and
Yeah.
where you had that duo back there. And yeah, by the way, Brian, yes, the Carks, we missed the playoffs by a very slim margin. 5th place, not bad. Um, I continue to see if I can win the lottery to buy the mitts, owned by a good friend Mitt. And dude, the guy, he said not only is he the commissioner, but he has won the league the last 2 years, not only in the pay league but also in our free league. And so, Mitt,
Okay.
shout out if you're watching, and congratulations to your Montana State Bobcats for winning the
Yeah.
national title as the football championship series or FCS
Yeah.
champions.
Yeah.
Hey, we played them week 1. We played some national titles. We played national title teams, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, but Jordan Davidson, great season. Kudos to you. Heal up, rest up, get healthy. We'll see you in the spring, man. We'll see you in the spring.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's the thing is you feel for a kid, especially when they get this deep in, and he's been such a huge part, obviously, of what we're doing here and everything else, and you and I talked about that after the you had sent me a text, and then you called me and kind of let me know something, and the thing that we were talking about was there yeah, his loss is gonna be felt. But what we were talking about is that he, like a Royce Freeman, has a knack to find the end zone.
Yep.
Right? It's not by accident that kid just sniffs the goal line and gets past it all the time, to the tune of 14 or 15 touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
That red zone run game it could be impactful, and I mean, you saw on social media pages, who's going to be RB3, and oh my gosh, and yeah, there's some attrition. There's
Yeah.
some attrition there, and then there's, did Harris go into the portal? Didn't he go into the portal?
Yeah.
But as long as the guys can stay healthy, I'm not mad at extra touches for Deer Hill.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or extra
And
touches for Noah. Like, and I think we'll talk about it a little bit more when it
yes.
comes to the game. Let's not jump too far ahead because
Yeah.
we can go
So
on and on about
you
that.
had Davison, and so I
Yep.
did have a plan. I did have a plan B here, and uh, I'm gonna go with the obvious. I'm gonna go with Dante on this.
Okay.
I was obviously, you're curious going in to the quarterfinal on the road, bigger stadium, bigger stage, against a better team than JMU that we played at home with the comforts of home, sleeping in your own bed, all of that stuff that goes with it. I was curious how he was going to respond uh, on that bigger setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been, he's made no bones about the fact that he basically overthought the first Indiana game, got too caught up in the hype, got too caught up in the emotion of the game going into that game. So I was curious, about how the other games that the skin, the layers of skin that had been built up after that Indiana game against the Iowas of the world, still what was a fairly close game against Wisconsin at home, but responding to those games.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you talked about, I felt like he looked calm in the beginning. These weird little hiccups with his legs or whatever running out of bounds, and I don't get this,
Yeah.
but I felt like he looked relaxed, was throwing the ball well. Yeah, he had the pick, whatever, but a good team's going to make you pay for something like that. But at the same time, he made some good throws. I felt like he was making most of the right reads, and it was just a matter of not turning it into points. And what we had talked about at halftime or whatever was the missed opportunities. So
Right.
Dante is the guy, and I think he continues to take this team, you know, down this path.
All right. Yeah, no, I thought his play was awesome. It was controlled. It was calculated. Like you said, there was a couple passes in which you could see that like he would want back. There was a pass across the middle that was a little bit behind, but I forgot who caught that, but they were able to reach back up and make a incredible catch.
I think
And
that was your guy Malik, wasn't it?
yeah, it was leak.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on now.
and so, well, and I think those first two opening series, the ball was getting distributed to so many different guys. Whether it was Sadiq, Jamari, Malik, Decorian, Gary Bryant. Like, there's all these guys that were getting touches, and I think that we'll talk about it when it comes to the game
Yeah.
this week. But nonetheless, it was nice to see that he got into some rhythm.
Well,
Brian,
I don't go to the lab much, Chef Marc,
yeah,
but I was curious because it just felt like there were so many different players that got the opportunity to have a touch on the ball.
exactly.
Outside of Tatum's reception,
Yep.
I believe it was 10 different players that caught a ball from Dante, 10
That
different receivers, if you will.
and
That's
there's something
that's
about that, like to be able in game scenarios in which you're catching balls, it makes a difference. It's not practice. Like you
yeah.
can't replicate those reps in which you're getting the ball, and so I love it. Brian, get the question for mom. We'll answer it. We'll have to do some other.
I
Uh,
wish I wish mom could figure out how to ask that question on here as well. Come
I
on,
know.
Karen. Come on,
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah. So get the question, ask it. Brian, I think you're right too. The business trip mentality, the biggest thing a lot of teams do, like the fact, traveling east from west to east is a difficult task to do. And teams have had challenges with doing that, from NFL teams to college football teams across the board. The travel from east to west is much more difficult than it is from excuse me, west to east than it is from east to west.
Yeah.
It's just the way that human body works. It's difficult to get up and get going, right? And we had a 9 a.m. game. They were ready to go. 9 a.m. Pacific time. It was noon Eastern. But to get up I'm assuming they're out of bed 6 a.m. ready to go, get their breakfast, get going, get to the field, get warmed up, and then they hit their stride. So good job there. Let's move on to the next segment, which is just the tailgate tips with T-Rod,
Yeah.
and then we'll probably get to Brian, my mom's question, if Brian can post it
Heck
into the
yeah.
chat.
Come
Yeah.
on, Brian.
All
So
right,
yeah,
just the tailgate
it's
tips with T-Rod. What do we
it's
got this
been
week?
it's been interesting to think about. What tailgate tips do you give right now? We're not necessarily tailgate. I thought about, if I had another way, taking my ass down the Masonic, setting up a 10 by 10 pop up with my chair, the table, and just doing this from there. Why not?
Right,
Lights were on. I mean, but I did think about this, and I've had the opportunity to go to, quite a few bowl games. Both national championships game I've been able to attend because my family loves me. right? And getting the opportunity, I always love to take that opportunity to see my little brother who's over on the East Coast. But him and his buddies, basically they're alum. They come to these games, and nice to see them and run into them. You've got an opportunity to meet them, and
Yep.
if you don't have a spot to tailgate, as of course, as we did last year's Rose Bowl,
Right.
something that's always wonderful that people should try to take advantage of is are the pep rallies, right? So if you're traveling to these games and you're, what do we do? I'm not quite sure. I know that Mighty Oregon has their tailgate. That's something to go check out. But always take the opportunity to go to the pep rallies. Take the opportunity to go to those parades. As a fan of your team, that's an opportunity to absorb the atmosphere, take in the whole thing as an Oregon Duck, as an Oregon Duck fan, as whatever. So that's the tailgate tip. When you go to these bowl games and you're flying in from all over the country, take a moment, especially if it's your first one.
Yeah.
Go to these pep rallies, go to these parades, go and do the activities with other fans, other Duck fans, other like thinking Duck fans that are just ready. And it doesn't matter where you're from. Take advantage of those opportunities. That's my tailgate tip of the day for those people that are heading to Atlanta right now.
I love that because I think that, not only they throw these pep rallies to, rally the fans,
Oh
but like
yeah.
to go
Yeah.
and like just experience it. Before the UW game, we had the pep rally put on by Facebook, in
Yeah.
which, there's, Duck alumni there. There was Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches there. There was, they had the Meta glasses there. They had like all sorts of different things, and it was fun. Like it wasn't like our tailgate, but it was still fun. We had a good time, and it's always just nice to hang out and see what we got going on. Oh, look at this.
There
We
we
do have
go,
it. We do
Karen.
have it. Karen,
Yeah.
Mom, you figured
Oh
out
yeah.
technology tonight, which is awesome. I knew you could do it. So Marc and T-Rod, no question. But please give my shout out to my favorite running back, Noah Whittington.
Yes.
Mom, just hold your horses. How about that? Hold your horses. I got something for you tonight. All right.
Come on now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. So Chef Marc's menu of the week. Last week during the game, I was pretty amped up. It was 9 a.m. It was a little bit difficult for me to just like kind of like sit down, eat, do whatever. I went with a charcuterie board, and now I'm like sitting here doing like, hey, charcuterie board, like. And then the other night, I was like, oh, you know what I haven't had in a while is bruschetta. So I was making some homemade bruschetta last week. So, but
Okay.
this week's menu, I've been thinking about it a little bit. We did meatball subs for the Indiana game.
Mhm.
Um, I'm probably not bringing out meatball subs again for the Indiana game.
No. Well,
So
no.
yeah,
You can't
it,
repeat anything that was of that day.
no, it's done. It's
Yeah.
done. And
Yeah.
so my menu this week, um, it's going to be an interesting one. I haven't really solidified it. It's Wednesday, and it's to be determined. How about that?
Okay.
It's just one of
TBD.
those. Yeah,
TBD
TBD.
on the menu.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I'll say this: there were some discussions that I was having with some friends this week, and the menus for next season are starting to come together. I'm not going to give you too much of a preview, but I may have Nebraska figured out. So, okay, charcuterie. I don't know how to say it, Brian. Yeah. Anyway, Shannon, thank you. Yeah, sister-in-law gave me a hard time about saying charcuterie. I was in the restaurant business. We didn't serve charcuterie.
Hey, you know what, Chef Marc, you do you. You do you.
I know what it is. It's a bunch of meat and cheeses and nuts and fun little dipping things, and yeah, I make a decent lunch.
Charcuterie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cooter, like cooter. That's how I
There
try
you
to, you know.
go. Good times. All right, let's dive. Since my mom asked a question about or
Yes.
gave a shout out to Noah Whittington, let's go ahead.
Let's go.
Yeah, no hot hands. I got the heater right here. The fireplace did die. I guess I need more propane. Anyway, Ducks to watch. This segment is Ducks to watch. 2 offensive players, 2 defensive players, and which we'll pick that we're watching this week in the semifinal round versus Indiana in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to pick 2 offensive, 2 defensive. We're going to start with T-Rod this time around. We're going to start on the offensive side of the ball. You
Well,
start.
but I think based off of the special request, Chef Marc,
Okay.
I think you should go first. And we got to keep the fans happy,
All right.
right?
All right. I did
And
give a
there's a
little
very
preview.
important
Yeah,
fan on here that needs that shout out.
absolutely.
So
Mom,
there you go.
mom, thank you. So my first duck to watch on the offensive side of the ball, I gave you a little preview earlier, is my mom's favorite running back, Noah Whittington.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is this an important game for that running back room, but Noah is also from the state of Georgia, in which Noah has played 2 state championship games in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and he played also Oregon versus Georgia back in 2022 in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Unfortunately, his record in Mercedes-Benz is 0-3. I think Noah Whittington has something to prove. He's in his home state. He's ready to go. That running back room is a little thin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And what I've been telling people is that Noah's going to come out and he's going to run with his hair on fire. And he's going to run like he did against Iowa, except in better conditions. And
Yeah.
I think that, with Noah, it's really going to kind of like the spotlight's kind of been going to be on him. It's going to be on him
Yeah.
and Dier in the backfield. And I think he's going to get the primary. I think he's going to, not only is going to be effective in the run game, but also in the pass game, and
Yeah.
also key to pick up those blocks. Now I rewatched the Indiana game, or that bye week that we had back in October, and I rewatched it. I mean, and there was some pass blocking in which he should have picked up, right? And I think he'll probably say, "I should have picked that up." I don't think he was satisfied. Noah, I think, has an opportunity to really solidify his legacy at Oregon with this game. And so Noah Whittington is my pick number 1, not only for my mom, but for my own sake, because I had him written down. I just think that, when we look at that running
I
back
mean,
room, and I don't know if you have a running back that you picked as well or not. But let's turn it over to you. Maybe you will pick a running back.
I just because we can expand on it more, and bison skewers, huh, Chef Marc? A little vote for that. My man Brett Ski out there. Love you, bro.
Yeah. What's up, Brett?
Yeah. That's just one of my great friends. Love him to
Cool.
death. He's
Awesome.
he's just yep, solid individual. My man Brett right there. Yeah, absolutely. And his woman who they have gone nomadic, sold their home, got an RV, went over to the coast, and are hanging out. I envy that.
Nice.
But he
Nice. Well
has
done.
told me multiple times that they are by the golf course. So that's code for you owe me a trip over here to the coast to come and golf with me.
Come hang out. Yep, for sure.
And I mean, he doesn't really necessarily have to pull my hair to do that. So but yeah, now shouts out, my man. Again, we talked about it earlier, and now we can expand on it. I'm not mad about more carries for either one of these guys. It's going to be a physical game, and these games are going to get more physical and continue to be physical. So, there was a time, a day and age, when you had an RB1 and then you had a backup. And the RB3 thing was something that was really, it was, oh, he's third string. Who is it?
Right.
You know, we've just been fortunate, and we're a little spoiled here at this program to expect to have a really good RB3.
Right.
Right. And so, yes, everybody's concerned that, you know, they want the guys to stay healthy. But I think, again, if we had the best stable of running backs in the country, we still have two of the best running backs in the country still playing this game.
Right.
And I'm not mad about more touches for either one of them. I do agree with you to a degree. I think that maybe we need to see a little more physical running from Noah. We have seen before, maybe has taken a step back. I don't know why, you know, but I think he's going to be a guy on a mission there. But then I'm also not mad about De'Aaron Hill getting more touches, and that is one of my Ducks to watch. And we've been calling that all season. And you know, I mean, at one point in time during the season, he was averaging what, 7-8 yards a carry.
Yeah, it's 8.1. I looked it up earlier today. 8.1 yards per carry. Like, and people are discussing like what's Oregon going to do at the running back position.
Where's RB3? Who's going to be? Oh, thank goodness Jay Harris hasn't gone in the portal. Well, no, why? Why? Yes, okay. I understand people from the injury aspect. In a game, people are going to get dinged up. I understand that part, but we just need to trust that that's not going to happen. And if it does not happen, then what is so terribly wrong with these two individuals getting more carries?
Right.
Nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Give them more opportunities to hit the home run.
Yep.
You know, the more you put Reggie Jackson to the plate, the more often it was going out of the park. That's my man De'Aaron.
Exactly.
Right there. I mean, the more opportunities he's going to get, the more plays he's going to make, and he's dangerous against this Indiana team. You know, and so yes, he is my first one on offense.
That's awesome. And I think it's important that we do highlight them. I'm glad that you picked De'Aaron and I picked Noah, because the fact is you're right. You brought up the point that like it used to be RB1, RB2, and then really the RB3 was like 2 or 3 carries and why is he in there type thing. And we have been, you know, blessed with 3 running backs in which they were distributing the ball and there was, you know, carries. Are we going to miss Jordan Davison? Absolutely. We want Jordan Davison in this game? Absolutely. But, you know, on the Jay Harris thing, you know, it's interesting because he was listed as out, right? Yesterday, I saw something. I haven't verified it, but he wasn't listed today. So that's interesting. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's like an emergency plan, like break glass in case of emergency type deal. I don't know how that would work. He's I saw that the paperwork had been filed or maybe it had been filed. There's a lot behind it. Whoever shows up on Friday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time is going to play.
Yeah.
Is going to play.
Yeah. And that's you know, that's I mean, that's all we need. That's all we need. And the other side of it is and you and I talked about this. There's so many different packages you could put Kenyon Sadiq in that almost he can become an RB3 if need be in certain packages. We've seen that throughout the year. And so, you know, was it going to suck? And you and I were talking about it. Yeah. Was it going to suck? Right. The guy, like I just said, sniffs the goal line and finds it. Red zone offense with Jordan Davison looks different.
Absolutely.
And so that is going to be impactful. We'll see how much, but I think we're going to be just fine, man. As long as these kids just can, you know, do their thing. Yes, Mr. October, Karen. Mr. October. Yes. Thank you. So many of our packages feature 2 RBs in the backfield. What happens when one has to take a breather or gets dinged up? Well,
I don't know if it cuts it in half.
As we referred to last game, though, Scott, 10 different people caught passes. And we talked about this in the podcast prior, how do you cover all of those, knowing that you had DeCorian coming back, Gary Bryant coming back? It's still the same scenario. You cannot cover that many wide receivers. Does it mean that, does it turn into a 40 throw game for Dante? I like the chances if it does. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. And when I've been thinking about it too, because I think, Scott, you pose a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it cuts it in half. It may actually open it up because I think Oregon's offense has been really structured in a balanced approach. When you think about Will Stein and his offense at UTSA, it was heavy pass. It was not 50-50 run pass. It was 70-30. And a lot of their running plays were done by their quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we picked the two guys that we believe are going to play at this point that we know that are not listed as out. And that's Noah Whittington and Deer Hill. My second guy is Emmanuel Pregnon. And I think that I'm going to continue with that. Did you really?
I didn't, but no, I didn't. But
okay, I thought when I say did you really pick him too? But out of the kind of 11 to 17 players that often play for the on offense, it's kind of like one of those things. But it can happen where we pick the same guy. But Emmanuel Pregnon, I think that the way that he has performed this year, not only in the run game but also in the pass game, sometimes it gets overshadowed. It doesn't get highlighted. You're one of five. One as a unit as the offensive line. But when I think about how important he's going to be in that run game, if we're going to be running through between the tackles and working with Isaiah World is working with Poncho on the other side, or if he swings over and is moved out and comes around or whatever. But like the way that he has played this year is quite impressive. There's a lot of knocks on him coming from his prior stop to Oregon, and I haven't seen it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to set those blocks, set up the run, allow Noah, allow Dier. Like if we're hitting that average of 5.9 to 8.1, which is the average for Noah and Dier on this season, I'm confident in our run game. Now, I'm not, like that's a pretty large number when you think about running, but is it possible? Of course it is. Look at the stats. The stats don't lie. Look at how they run. That doesn't lie. Look at the offensive line and what they can do up front. And so it's really going to be that power unit when it comes to that offensive line. But I'm going to be watching that left guard, Emmanuel Pregnon.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I laugh is because, we highlighted, two important running backs for this game, obviously. The two most important running backs for this game, obviously. You went O-line, and my guy is Poncho.
There you go.
And that's why I was laughing. You went offensive. I forgot to take my hoodie off when I came inside, and it's a little warmer in here than it is out there, Chef Marc. So
God knows. So yeah, God knows it's chilly.
But yeah, so I went with Poncho, and I don't know what it was last week. I don't know if he just kind of got a little bit of ahead of himself, if he got in a hurry, if he got distracted, right? There was a couple of uncharacteristic plays by him last week that is something that we aren't used to seeing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was just maybe a few of the moments got, I don't want to say too big because that's not the case with him. So I think the offensive line's performance this week needs to be and should be, just because of what we've seen, a total different dynamic than what we saw against Indiana the first game. right? And we know both teams have grown, right? But Indiana is filled with a bunch of guys that are basically 2 or 3 years removed from Social Security, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, right? The average
Yeah, I
age or
mean,
whatever
when
it
you,
is, right?
yeah,
And the Oregon was quite young coming
yeah,
into this season, comparatively, and so yes, there obviously you're going to have growth on both teams, but what is the projection of that growth given how much growth needed to take place,
hmm
right? And so I want to see the old Poncho back than what I saw, because a couple of those uncharacteristic plays last week actually were drive killers,
yeah,
and we can't have that.
yeah.
And so that I we're right. This is what, episode 11.
Episode
You know,
11, but
I mean, come
I
on, baby.
mean, yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're we're,
We're
we're
6 months into this thing, man.
I
Like,
mean, we're this. It's a symbiotic thing here going on.
it is, it is,
So yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's my guy. I'm going with Poncho. I think is again very important. So we're going to see with those two guys and those two horses
Well,
how they guide us down this path.
But I think we both kind of picked, as far as like the offensive line. I mean, it starts up front, whether that's in the run game or in the pass game. It starts up front. Like
Yeah,
the ball starts at the center and it's snapped back to the quarterback. That's
yeah,
how this game works. So the ball starts up front, and
yeah,
so how the offensive line performs dictates how the game's going to go. Like,
yeah.
and so
And I
yeah,
didn't pay too
I
much
love that.
attention to this, but isn't their star DN out?
Uh, yeah,
I it,
I haven't really.
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I mean, I
my
don't get.
lab work hasn't been the best.
I haven't
I
gone
think
into the
they're
lab,
down.
so
Yeah, they're down one defensive, and they still have the other. They also have their linebacker. I think it's 46. I mean, he's relentless. We
yeah,
faced a
yeah.
linebacker last week, two linebackers last week, and Rodriguez and Ben Roberts that are uh, day one, day two guys. So we're going to see
And
another
I
probably
don't.
day one guy
They're not
or
going to
day two guy.
be
Yeah.
better than what they saw last week.
I
As
mean,
far as that defensive line goes. And I thought after as that game wore on last week, uh, our offensive line started to take a little more control.
yeah.
There was a little bit more physicality that came with that second half than what we saw
hmm
in that first half.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm excited to see it because I think that I love I love the litmus test here
Yeah.
with from the first to this time. I love that part of this game because we get to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may be down, one of the running backs, but as far as the rest of the team goes, we get an
Well,
opportunity to see.
okay. So I'm going to give you something like, I went back and looked at the carries versus Indiana during the bye week in October,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, Davidson had 3, Diarra had 3, Noah had 8. Like, so,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's play ball.
100%. They had.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, let's go. Let's flip to the defensive side of the ball. I started first on offense. I'm going to go to you, T-Rod, on defense. I know you just finished up with Poncho, but do you have a defensive player, first defensive player you want to start off with on the defensive side of the ball? Last week, we put up, we held them to 0 points. This week, it will be very difficult to hold this offense to 0
Yeah.
points. I'm not expecting that. If that happens, good God.
Oh my, listen, last week's performance went down in history.
Yeah.
If that was to happen, but Indiana's just too talented, I think, for that to happen. But hey, I don't want to poo poo on it because now we've seen it happen one time. There is a
Yeah.
standard,
Well,
you know.
yeah, and one thing I didn't talk about, I guess we can talk about it when it comes to the game. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about Brandon and his impact on the game, but what's his name, Becker or Decker?
The wide receiver, yep.
That did not play against us, right? And if I'm an Indiana fan and I'm saying Oregon fan hasn't seen this guy, and I've seen him. We've watched a couple of games with him. He is that speedster guy. He can get open down, down the middle. He can run that fade route. He's not afraid to go across the middle, and he's got speed.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes it very difficult to get off the field on third down because he makes himself available so well.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be an interesting matchup with him and Finney. I think will probably draw that. I'm guessing we'll draw that assignment. But so I'm going to flip to the other side because I think the other side is going to have to answer that call. Finney's playing so well. Mendoza won't be afraid to challenge him.
Yeah.
But if his football IQ is what it is, he's also going to not want to look there all the time.
Right.
And I think that other side of the ball, which I think if he played last week, we saw him on the field,
right,
doing his thing. I think he's going to have a big impact on this game for us to be successful, not just on defense, but in the game as a whole. So if he's my guy on the other side, trying to hold that down and lock that down.
I love that pick because I also had that pick. Once again, we do not share our notes, but this happens. This happens, and it happens more frequently than you believe because we hang out a lot, man. Like we talk.
Yeah.
I try not to be like, hey, every night text T-Rod, what's up? Like I'm thinking, we don't discuss any of this. Like, but I think that you're right. Iffy is going to have an important role in this defense this week, especially because their passing game is so. It's explosive, and they get the ball distributed to a bunch of different guys. So I'm going to call audible on my pick. Since you picked Iffy, I'm going to pick Jordan Canada because I think the nickel is also going to be very, very important in this game. Whether it's in the run game, in the pass game, Jordan Canada has shown up at very important times this year, and I think it's very that defensive backfield, big time, and that defensive backfield is going to be tested. I think that they do have something to prove, because I don't think that their performance versus Indiana during that bye week in October, and I mentioned it as a bye week in October because it felt like it, and so nonetheless, I'm going to pick Canada as my guy. And we'll go from there. My mom's giving some good intel here. She is she's hitting the lab.
I'm loving it.
Karen's in the lab tonight. She says per Google as of tonight that these Hoosier, what is a Hoosier? I'm still trying to figure that out. Players are out due to injury. Brandon Frankie, Stephen Daly is the defensive end
with the Bison mascot.
Yeah. Kellen Wyatt, Bryson Bonds, and Lee Beebe Jr. 2 players out due to transfer portal, and they mentioned them. And then Brandon Frankie is their kickoff specialist. Okay, so they don't have a kickoff specialist. I'm sure that they can find somebody else to receive the kickoff or not, because Sap likes to put it into the end zone. So I picked Brandon Finney. Go to your second guy on defense, and let's see who you got.
So because we've seen the growth all year from him, and because some of these players are just such different players now than they were at that time of that game, right? I'm jumping on the Bear bandwagon this game as well, because we know what to expect from Amari, and that and he's had his growth this year, but Bears has he was just coming into his own.
Yeah.
Right. He was just starting to get his feels about him. He was just starting to get his legs underneath him being here. Now, him and Amari are just 2 beasts in that middle. And I want to see again how much different his ability and the way that he is playing now compared to that first game impacts this game.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be, I think he's going to play a huge role. in this game because of the difference that he is now from then.
Yeah. Well, and when I was watching Bear last week was one thing I've noticed, and I've noticed in a couple weeks, that a lot of people like to call it like heavy hands, where the defensive guy, like when he hits you, it's like it hits you, and you can see those heavy hands hit the offensive lineman and push those pads back.
Yeah.
And so he's been playing with that force, that physicality up front. So I love that pick, and it's going to be key to push that pocket back, get it collapsed around Mendoza, and let guys like Tatum Turiotti is my pick number 2.
Yes,
there we go.
Great pick.
Yeah, and it'd be like when I was thinking about back to Texas Tech in the quarterfinal game. It'd be, he was on my list of like guys that you could really like say, hey, that was my duck, on the defensive side of the ball. And the way that he's playing over the last, I don't know, like this whole season, really, he's been really relentless. Not only in the run game, shedding blocks, getting guys down, also in the pass rush game, getting after the quarterback, just Tatum, like, do your thing, show up, play ball, go with the relentless effort and technique, yeah. And so,
I just feel
44.
Like the theme
let's
here
go.
is the theme here, and I don't, I'm not an Indiana fan,
right.
And yes, I'd actually rather be a hoser, right?
There's a funny story about a hoser,
And so, I'm not an Indiana fan, and we've said all season long, our takes are based off of what our hearts feel and what our eyes tell us about our team.
Yep.
Right. And, but if I'm an Indiana fan, because of the guys that they have and the guys they've developed, and Cignetti's a great coach, and they have their own development there.
Yep.
Right. But I just feel like the theme of what we're talking about, and again, the reason I love this game so much is that gauge, that litmus test, that what do we look like now compared to then?
Yep.
And Tatum is just he's that same story. They were just now starting to come into their own.
Yep.
Right. They were behind other guys last year.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't it feel like right now that this is like their second year of playing? Like playing like as a starter or having significant, and it's not.
Yeah. And it's about development. Like Coach will say it's about development, about like having that growth mindset of always improving just a little bit more each and every single day.
Yeah.
And when you think about Tatum in his freshman year, his body was different, and he's reshaped his body, and he's getting into that form in which he still has that speed. In that physical, and he's using that new growth and physicality to get after guys. And so I'm really looking forward to watching Tatum Friday.
Coach loving the staff, getting her done.
Exactly. Great. All right. So final segment of the week, we're going to go over the bucket of doom college football playoff edition. I have my bracket. You have your bracket?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yep.
I'm making the changes that I need to make sure that it just at least matches up from what it is, because obviously a couple of those games didn't go how we thought they might.
No, and so going through this in the quarterfinal, Oregon beat Texas Tech. I had that. You had that. We had Alabama and Indiana. I had picked Indiana, and I believe you picked Indiana as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then I picked Georgia.
Me too.
And I missed on that one.
Yeah.
So that's a miss. And now we have Ole Miss beating Georgia versus I had picked the Ohio State or the OSU versus Miami. so I missed on that one.
Me too.
And so, yeah, on one side of the bracket, we were right. On the other side of the bracket, we were wrong.
Yeah,
It
I
happened.
mean,
So
and
here we are.
I think there was probably a lot of those brackets that probably looked the same as ours
Yeah.
after that. Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
this is mine for those viewers out there. Let's break down that Ole Miss versus Miami game first, as it is tomorrow night. Thursday night, the Fiesta Bowl is played down in Glendale, Arizona. It will be number 10, Miami, facing off number 6, Ole Miss,
Yeah.
on ESPN tomorrow night. So we have a Thursday night football for college football. This should be played on Saturday.
Period. Yeah,
but
and I will be for part of that game, the family and I are going down to the Ronald McDonald House here in town and feeding the 25 people of the families that are at the Ronald McDonald House, and unfortunately are having to stay there for whatever reason. Their loved ones are in the hospital, so we'll be down there for a portion of that game. But I'll definitely be tuning in as much as possible. But yeah, Miami's defense, their front four are pretty dangerous. I felt like they're, watching that game, that their secondary likes to get downhill and hit people. And, but you know what? I thought, and I know Ryan Day was calling plays and, whatever. And I thought that they dropped the ball when they didn't come out in the second half and running with some pace, running with some speed. Ryan Day had Chip Kelly there. He saw the effectiveness of having an up tempo offense like that. And when they finished that first half in that up tempo, pace that they were running, they had Miami's D line gas. Miami's D line wasn't doing squat during that time. And first thing I thought was, I know Aaron Feld's not the strength and conditioning coach there anymore, but to me, that was they looked like they were operating on an Aaron Feld cardio program.
Yeah.
Because they weren't able to sustain what they did, and they weren't that effective coming out at half. So that 15-20 minute halftime still wasn't enough for those big boys on that Miami line to recover. And I felt like Ohio State really missed an opportunity to come out and run with some tempo and keep that pressure on that got them into the end zone the last time. And once they let those guys get their breath again, game was over.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny, because we hadn't really even talked about this either, but like same thing. Like I'm like, dude, why is Ohio State not running with tempo? They had those guys gassed, like seriously gassed. And so like going into this game, it'll be interesting to see what the approach is for Ole Miss and their offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr., and seeing if they do run with some tempo. Lacey, their running back, was my other running back on the Carks, dude. It was Jordan Davison and Lacey as my running backs, and I still didn't make the playoffs, Brian. So I thought I had a good stable of running backs. I had 2 backs. Maybe I needed a third. I don't know. But like,
you need an RB3.
Once again, I think that Chambliss for Ole Miss announced he's coming back to Ole Miss. The way that he was layering his throws, making some incredible throws, and not only that, but the balance of their offense with Lacey and their other back, I forget his name, but like they're running the ball quite often as well. Can they get them off tempo or run some tempo, get them a little bit gas, get after it? It's interesting that Miami defensive line is ferocious, and how long can they sustain it? Once again, you said their defensive backfield. They're active, they're long, they're lengthy, they're fast. Once again, offensively, we know what Mario likes to do on offense, and Carson Beck it seems that he's kind of found his own within that offense. He's not being asked to do too much. Tony, their true freshman wide receiver / running back, like
Dangerous.
talented as can be. You're going to have to contain him. You hope to contain him.
Yeah.
And the offensive line, probably the most weight out of all offensive lines in college football. They're big.
Yeah.
And that's how Mario likes them. He likes big offensive line. They're not that mobile, but when it takes you have to run around the block to get to the quarterback. It doesn't matter how mobile you are.
Exactly right.
Exactly
right.
So it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be. I hope for a competitive game. I've been kind of going back and forth on this. I've struck out quite often on this side of the bracket. I'm willing to put my neck out there and say Ole Miss has something more to play for than Miami. I think Ole Miss has been done wrong by the NCAA. I think with this schedule, they've been done wrong by their old ball coach. And they kind of feel like, hey, what about us? And they have something to prove. They have a chip on their shoulder. And I think that their coach, Pete Golding, is using that to his advantage as a motivating factor. And I'm going to pull for Ole Miss. I feel for them. I feel for what they're going through as a program, as a fan base. And, nothing would be better than Ole Miss making the national title game with Lane Kiffin sitting at home.
Cheering them on. He's going to cheer them on.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I have Ole Miss here beating Miami, and I don't know what you have. But
I do.
Go ahead. What do you got? Ole Miss, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's listen. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's if their quarterback can play out of his mind again like he did against Georgia. Make those plays, make Miami's D line run around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off and wear them out. Yeah, there's an opportunity there. I mean, in all honesty, I feel like this game is Miami's to lose, but I will never write that down. I refuse. It's just this side of Huskyville for me that I will absolutely refuse. And then it's mixed in there with the BYU thing and the Husky thing is the Miami thing. Yeah. And I absolutely refuse to, and listening to Miami fans, which God, it's just, you hate to listen to it because it's like nails on a chalkboard sometimes. Nobody thought we should be here. We didn't belong here. No, you didn't belong there.
No, Notre Dame.
No, you didn't belong there.
You didn't win the freaking conference.
Earn your place. You can thank Manny Diaz for putting you there, but you didn't belong there. You didn't earn your spot there. So I don't want to hear that part of it. But on the flip side of that, Miami fan, you have shown well, and your team is dangerous. And even though I won't write it down, I do think this is your game to lose. But I'm pulling for Ole Miss. I want to see Ole Miss because I don't want to see Mario there. But I think Miami is I think they're the better team here.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to write that name down. I'll admit it. I'll admit it right here on camera. Yeah. But, I don't want to hear that, we shouldn't have been. No, you shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have been there. You were there because you play in a weak conference. You were there because your conference champion, sucked for half the year. So again, I don't want to hear this. Well, you didn't deserve to be there, but now that you're there, you're making good on your opportunity, and I respect that. Right. So, it's like an SEC thing to me.
Yeah.
Right. And we won't even go there. Well, because, I love the fact that the SEC is having to rely on the Rebs to hold up their flag right now.
Yep.
And as much as people hate that part of it, I love that part of it because, I mean, that's the only reason that their bowl record is going to look halfway decent at the end of this bowl season is because Ole Miss is winning those games, right?
Yeah, so, and I haven't checked the uniform fit for Ole Miss, but I hope they come out in those baby blues, man.
Baby blues are nice, man.
Yeah, that's a clean fit.
I mean,
that's a clean fit. Yeah,
I think
like
as tailgate connoisseurs, you and I,
it
would be great to have an opportunity. If there's anybody listening out there who wants to invite us and maybe send one of those Ole Miss, private J's out here to give us a ride, we'd love to come to the Grove and set up.
We would
and have our
Oregon,
big Oregon tailgate talk.
Yeah,
and our well, I mean, we could call it the Grove tailgate talk that day. We would be willing to sacrifice that part of it, but hey.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. Like, let's bring the playoffs to the campuses where they belong. Let's bring them back to Saturdays where they belong, and maybe next year or in future years, we're in the Grove watching the Oregon Ducks play Ole Miss, and T-Rod and I are there having an Oregon football tailgate talk the night before college football playoff game. That'd be awesome.
Come on now, let's go.
Yeah. Well, we have one other game. This is the semifinal, so there's only 2 games, and the second game is on Friday night. It is the Oregon Ducks versus the Indiana Hoosiers. It's a Big Ten matchup at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Friday night lights. Let's bring it on.
Go Ducks!
Ducks!
Come on,
go Ducks! We both have the Ducks in this one. I'm pretty confident on that. Look at that. Our brackets are filling out in a very similar fashion. This is a bucket of doom. We don't fill out the entire bracket. We pick the games each week. That's how we do it. That's the bucket of doom. There isn't anything on the line other than our own pride. Right now, our brackets look very similar. I can only imagine if this is the final, that we will pick the same team in the final. That being said,
listen, I've already advanced to the final here, and as you know, I mean, listen, it's it's one of those.
It's written.
It's one of those 3 or 4 NCAA March Madness tournament brackets that I'll put together, because one of the brackets I always put together, the Ducks will win the national championship every year, right?
I mean,
So I don't know.
And we talked about this game a little bit earlier, obviously with our Ducks to watch. But I think the one thing that I was going to mention, and I'm saving it kind of for this segment, is that as the tables kind of turned in the middle of the 4th quarter versus Indiana, one thing that I noticed was that the Indiana defense started just sending guys after Dante, and it really kind of put our hopes of coming back, or our hopes of changing the course of the game into a different direction. And I think that it was almost as if I think we could use that as a point of motivation, in which they're not going to allow that to happen to them. They're not going to allow that to especially in Autzen, for a team to go in there and just kind of do that to them from the offensive line perspective. We both picked 2 offensive linemen, but I think there's something to prove. And I think that it's not only the offensive linemen, but also those tight ends. When I think back to that game too, was Sadiq fully healthy? I'm not quite sure. Jamari had a drop that I think he would want back. There's different aspects of that side of it as well, and they're going to be key not only in the receiving side of the passing game, but I think in the pass blocking side of it, and the run blocking side of it. So they're going to have to be a little bit more active. I think that it's important for us to set a tone that we're not going to be bullied, we're not going to be pushed around. Kurt Cinetti, you can whine and complain about the refs all freaking night long. I don't give a damn.
No, and I agree with you 100%. Again, I think I'll just look back at just again, the growth of this team through the season, and how the offensive line was still learning to gel. Tatum being a freshman on the defensive end, Bear what wasn't even thought about really, right? I mean, it's just this team is so much different now than they were that first game. That part of the test is exciting to me to watch. The different matchups and what that looked like compared to what compares to this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just like our chances in the trenches better this time. I think it's going to look different this time. What you were talking about, yeah, it was a sign of disrespect, in my opinion, right? Because it's like we don't respect you enough that we're going to go ahead and just send. We're going to just send the house every time if we want to, because your quarterback's not either comfortable. He's not wanting to step up into the pocket and make the throws. Watching it back after the game, I haven't watched it back this time because it just pains me.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it back after the game, there were a lot of throws that Dante didn't make that he could have taken down the field that were open. But again, now you're talking about a Malik who's a different receiver now. But you have the return of the guys who were healthy then, and then you have the emergence of Jamari Johnson now even more so. So again, you had 10 different guys catch a ball last game. Good luck to Indiana to try to stop that again. I know the run game is ultra important, but I believe this team has even more capability, is going to be even more comfortable if they have to morph into something different than a dominant run game. But I don't think it has to be dominant. But listen, they need to get at least a buck 25, a buck 40-ish, something like that, to really keep Indiana honest and allow Dante a little bit more time to run the ball or to throw the ball.
Yeah. And when I think back to that game too, you're coming off of a very emotional victory at at Penn State, in which you go into overtime and or you went up, you're up big, kind of 2 scores in the fourth quarter. You give that away, ends up in a tie, goes to overtime.
Yeah.
And they score their first possession, and then it was, I think, they kicked a field goal, and then we came back and scored and won. Or no, we scored our first possession of overtime, and then we intercepted the ball. Dylan Denneman, thank you very much, and walked it off. That was a very emotional game. Dan showed his emotion. When you hit that high, right? It's only natural that you come down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult to get back up to that high. I think that from a sports psychology standpoint, this team is ready. It's poised to continue on that path of success.
Yep.
Have they had some people hit the portal this week? Yes. Are there guys that have been, or is Jordan Davidson injured and not able to play this week? Yes. But in the face of adversity lies an opportunity for this team to step up and show them what they're made of. What has all that heart, blood, sweat, and tears throughout the season meant to each one of you? What has all that time, the effort, the film study, the strength, the conditioning, the extra work that you're putting in the Mashofsky, all that, like, it comes to this point in which your opportunity lies in front of you. Your opportunity to change the trajectory of this program lies in your hands at 4:30 Pacific on Friday night.
This is the perfect time to just, it is really truly, yes, it's Indiana on the other side, but it is really a FIBU thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's a look in the mirror. It's going to give you an opportunity to look in the mirror and see how different you are now than you were that first game, and
Absolutely.
how you handle a well-seasoned, veteran, Indiana team with weirdly likable quarterback. I say weirdly likable because
I don't know. Like I can't do it.
I can't. Yeah, man. It's but hey, all the respect to Indiana, and what they got going on there. And I just hoped that our growth is what we think it is and what we've seen, because I believe if it is, we're definitely capable of beating Indiana and having a great game. And we still have yet, if we're talking about 2-2, and we're talking about Ducks to watch, we still have yet to see an offense and a defense play great on the same day. This is what we need right now. And,
Let's go.
and I think we're on the verge of that, and we'll see. But I think this game is, what's the spread? 4.5 still?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even watched.
Ducks
The
plus
most
4.5.
It doesn't even matter. Like,
No.
honestly, the
No.
spreads for people putting money on this game. I'm a fan. I don't bet against my own team, or bet for my own team. I don't put money on the line. I'm just a fan. I'm gonna root the living crap out of that game.
Yeah.
It'll be a difficult day. I'm going to work a half day in the morning, and then I'm going to take the second half off because I don't think that I can sit still. I'm having a difficult time right now. So that being said, I'm ready to go. I'm amped up. We did this on Wednesday night before the semifinal game, so that we could do the the first semifinal game in the Fiesta Bowl versus Miami versus Ole Miss. And then we already have it set. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to do it during the middle of the show. We both had other commitments tomorrow night as well. But it's such an honor to do this week in, week out with you. And I'm so glad this is working. We're almost an hour and 30 into this. Let's wrap it. And as always, man,
let's go.
As always, go Ducks.
Go Ducks.